Hello, I'm Binzer Flynn, and welcome to the Flinncast. Hi.
Hi.
Yo.
Oh, that sounded like a long-suffering people nearly got killed today. Hi. Am I right?
No.
No?
No one died today. Well, I mean, somebody probably did somewhere, but not as a result of me.
Not by the hands of Meredith.
It's like, I mean, that
Day's
I'm
not,
aware of, I guess. Like,
day's not over.
it's true. It's true. I have lost my chill a couple times today, so could happen. And it's just Tuesday, Tuesday.
Tell me about it. I'm counting the days. School goes back in on the 8th. I've got a week.
Tick, tick, tick. That's when they're putting all the ferries and buses back on their regular schedule, too.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah.
I got dragged out for a 2-hour, 3 playground tour this afternoon. Wasn't too bad, though.
Outside is better than inside.
Well, yeah, I commit myself to 30 minutes of some form of cardio every day, so that helps.
There you go. We're having a contest at my office this month for physical activity, and they're counting points. I'm not a super competitive person. I mean, like everybody, I like to win, but I'm never like 100% comfortable expressing my desire to win for something. It's like when we play Jackbox. Like winning is nice, but I always feel kind of weird. It's just like it's just my personality. But I work with athletes, so they're competitive mostly by nature. Like most of them are involved in competitive sport at some point at the national, and in one case I work with a Paralympian.
That's cool.
So it's like they're a little competitive.
Nothing wrong with a little healthy competition.
Yeah, it's gonna it'd be interesting to see how it shakes out. It's not that it's unhealthy competition. It's just like it becomes spite competition. Like I've seen people hurt themselves because like it's going to be interesting. Like we do stupid stuff like, how long can you stand on one foot before
Oh, so
somebody
like
gives in?
fucking Kenny versus Spenny Taskmaster
Yeah.
type shit.
Yeah, only usually with some sort of athletic sort of twist. Like we did the Everest climb where we worked out how many steps it was to climb Everest, and we did it on our back stairs.
Right.
As a team, we died on Everest. Like we made it about 3/4 of the way up before we also all have a very limited attention span, so we gave up. But our back stairs are very steep. It's four floors, like so. We did that for a while, but then there'd be people that'd be like, "Wait, how many did he do?" So they would do like one extra one, just so they could be over. It's like when we go for wings.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I just pictured Chief waiting to see who orders how many, and then
And one more.
Raina just gave me a really good quote about Everest. He said, "On the days when I'm not feeling motivated, just remember all the corpses on Everest were once motivated individuals. Be lazy."
It's true.
And of course, I can't think of Everest. They couldn't really go all that way, but I always think of Angel because, she and Jonathan climbed up there and got married in the highest monastery in the world. But that's relevant because today is 25 years to the day since we met. We met on September 1st, 1995.
Oh, cool.
When
Oh, very cool.
I was in my basement room apartment putting up fucking Mortal Kombat and Star Trek Deep Space Nine posters. And she stuck her head in the window and said, "Hi, I'm Angel." And it's been fucked ever since. We got drunk that night.
Like, nice to meet you. Do you drink? Why, yes. Come in.
Well, we were all in the same college program, so yep, we drank.
And we still haven't finished Umbrella Academy. I'm sorry.
I don't care. You should, just for yourself. It's good.
Oh, I know. And it's not even that we don't like it. It's just the logistics of
Oh,
I
I
can't
get it.
even
Yeah.
get people to watch it. So we have 2 left, and I have yeah, I'm not gonna talk
It's
away.
good. You're going to love the end of it for sure. It's so good.
I hope so. I hope so. I have concerns, but uh, yeah, no, I actually really, really liked it. So although it'd be sad when that's done, because then we'll have to figure out another family show to watch together. But I don't know.
I think we're spoiled for choice. You can take your pick. Well, you know what you could watch, and that actually leads into one of my news items this week is Cobra Kai. Both seasons just came to Netflix. I watched it back when it was still on YouTube. I just pirated the fucking thing. But I don't know if you like Karate Kid at all as a kid. Like, it is a really good show. Like, really good.
So here's the thing. I hate Ralph Macchio. I'm sorry, Ralph Macchio, if you're listening. You're not listening. But on the off chance that your name came up. I never loved Karate Kid, so I don't know whether I will love Cobra Kai.
Well, here's the thing. If you don't like Ralph Macchio, you should watch this show because he's kind of a dick in it. And this show is more from Johnny's perspective, right? It's what happened to him when he grew up and how he came in second place, and it basically fucked up his whole life. And so that we follow it from Johnny's perspective. So if you don't like Daniel-san, you should watch it.
Maybe I will then.
He doesn't grow up to be a likable person. Like, he's selling cars. He's kind of a douchebag, right? He's lost who he is. And Johnny's still an asshole, but you definitely, especially having grown up from the 80s too, now a little older now, it's like I totally identify with Johnny more.
Well, I think that's a lot of the times when you go back and look at stuff. I think the stuff we thought was like, oh no, I'm on that person's side. If you go back and watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Exactly. It's all about perspective, right?
Right. You're like, oh my God, go Ferris. And as you get older, you're like, oh, his poor parents. Like, I can't even imagine. Rooney. Oh, I'm so sorry, Rooney.
Come on, Rooney, bust this little prick.
Like, it just all changes.
It really does.
Scary, but accurate.
Although I do kind of wish they had actually followed through with the idea of Matthew Broderick as an adult skipping a day at work.
It would have been amazing. I mean, it's one of my favorite teen movies ever, I think, in existence. So yeah, it still makes me happy to watch. I think it's just because it was so much fun with the way they broke the third wall all the time, and
they really did in that movie.
And Cam, I felt so much sympathy for Cameron at the time. Cameron was like, "Oh, he's so whiny," and then you're like,
"Yeah,
you're like, oh my God, Ferris is terrible to him.
He is. He's a shitty friend.
Yes,
he's using for his car.
Yes, that Ferris theoretically, if they actually took the legitimate, logical route, he's a sociopath. I am pretty sure
he's a user.
Yeah, he's gaslighting people. He's terrible.
He's a liar. He's a total liar.
Yes.
He's a con man and a scam artist.
Yep. So I would like to see how he grew up, actually.
It'd be funny if we'd like to see him get busted. What would he do? He'd go to pieces.
Yes, it'd be interesting.
We've grown up, now we're on his sister's side.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine. Can you imagine? Seriously, that's your brother?
I'm glad Maggie's not here right now. That's all I can say.
She's probably like, I've always sympathized.
Oh, we used to fight like cats and fucking dogs when we were in high school.
My brother and I did too.
There's 8mm camcorder footage still on the tape of me and Maggie physically fighting. It's at Jenny's place, actually, in Bedeck, when her parents were away and a bunch of us were hanging out there. And Jenny's boyfriend at the time, my buddy Keith, he's sitting there eating right next to us while we're fighting. I'm shoving her face in the couch. And he's so used to it. He goes, "Will someone stop these two fucking idiots?" Oh, we were savage back then. You never know it now. And now we got each other's back no matter what. But holy fuck, back then.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's how
the same
it goes.
with my brother.
I got Altered Carbon got canceled and no one seems to care.
I am not a big fan of the author right now.
Neither am I now that I know about it.
Yeah, so I don't care. I mean, I said when we started watching it, I really loved the first season because it was original and stuff, and then the writing just didn't seem as good for me on the second season, and I don't know why.
Well, they just kept rehashing that Falconer shit. Like if they, like I said, if they just done a new detective story, kind of like they did that little animated one, which wasn't, the animation's kind of iffy, but it was a different story at least. Like they just,
yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, and I think there might have been too far between them. I think had they come closer together, I'd have remembered more of the stuff from the first one, and maybe it would have tweaked a little bit better for me. I don't know, but now I find out the author is an asshole. So,
yep.
yeah, for those of you, yeah, and people listening, he's transphobic in like the worst kind of way, really, and which is so ironic from a man whose entire universe involves getting to switch fucking bodies.
Honest to God, right? Like holy shit.
That he came out and supported J.K. Rowling and a bunch of other stuff. So,
Fuck J.K. Rowling.
yeah, exactly, and that pains me.
Me too. Totally. I don't know how many
Like,
times I've read those books.
yep. I mean, I got like tattoos. Luckily, it's not very, very specific, but it's still enough that it kind of, and it's
it
kind of
rankles.
it does, and it kind of what brought Kaya together. So
Yeah.
other things. So
Yeah,
he
you guys,
seemed
you guys got Harry Potter stuff on your original wedding invitation on my fridge.
yeah, yep. Wait, well, we on our save the dates, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, the wand thing and the Harry Potter book.
Yep.
yeah. But it's okay. I have made peace with the fact that I can love what she created and dislike her because she was always so very much human rights sort of centered, but for some reason she's just so very caught up in she imagines that, you know, having a trans woman being treated like a human, like fuck, like I don't even, it's just awful what she's espoused, but she just like she just doesn't get it. So she just thinks that that takes away. I mean, that's the whole turf thing, right? That it takes away from everything women have fought for.
Yep.
And like, I don't. I mean, I'm a feminist, and I don't feel that way at all. I feel like it's about being inclusive and diverse, and
Exactly. And like, how is it fucking affecting her life anyway? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I understand defending, the rights of a woman, of course, but it's like, if you don't support it, whatever, you could have just said nothing.
yeah, oh yeah, but she just, she figures she has a platform. So
Yeah.
I'm upset I won't get to finish my collection of the anniversary editions of all the books because I'm not going to throw any more money at her. So I'm not going to. I have 3 of 7, and I'm not going to buy the other 4.
That's
Yep.
the way to protest with the wallet.
Yep. And I mean, you can buy stuff that fans make that isn't licensed. That's kind of my.
Yeah.
Wait.
So did you guys see Project Power? I can't remember.
Yeah, we watched it.
What'd you think?
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. I did misunderstand one premise, and that premise would be I thought that every time you took one of the pill, you got a different power, not that once you took it once, you always got the same thing every time.
Yeah, that was my big question going into it too. But yeah, it turns out it's just sort of like activating your X gene.
I think it might have been more entertaining if it was random power every time.
I was kind of hoping for that.
Yeah. It was cool though. It was cool. I liked it. I really did. And I think it actually could have been, it can be really cool. And I would like to see Netflix do some more with it too. The ending was kind of lackluster. I now know about the pistol shrimp,
Yeah.
which was like the most powerful creature in the world is in fact the pistol shrimp. What?
I didn't know about that either. I think it's kind of interesting that they all the powers are animal based in one way or another. Like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, animals get cool powers.
One thing they didn't go into though, and I was kind of interested to know about, was Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character. What were the circumstances? Unless they did, I missed it. What were the circumstances of him trying the pill for the first time?
Yeah, I don't think they go into it at all.
Yeah, because when we meet him, he already knows what it is, and he's trying to score more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a perfect power for a cop, right?
Yep, he was Armadillo Cop.
Yeah, like
There's your next Netflix series.
bulletproof. Yeah. Armadillo cop. He's a man. He's an armadillo. Put him together.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I insist, is good and everything, but I really enjoyed him in this. Like, he was just, I don't know, I was buying what he was selling.
Yeah, I liked his character. I liked that he was just kind of that mid ground kind of jaded. I think he's like fucking adorable anyway. So like I would watch just about anything he's in. But when he was in the mom's house,
Oh
when
my God.
he came out in the towel.
That was brilliant.
It was hysterically funny. Like he just played it like, yeah, no, it was really good. I feel like the ending was a little predictable in it. Because you knew kind of that was how it was going to end up, so that he was going to end up saving the day somehow, and that he probably had powers from when they experimented.
Yeah.
Because I mean, how else would his daughter?
The thing about this show is, like, it's another great Netflix original, and it reminds me of The Old Guard and Bright. And I would like to see more about Project Power. I don't know if it has the potential for an ongoing series or more movies in the way that Bright and Old Guard do. You know what I mean?
Wait, what was Bright? Remind me.
Kind of Shadowrunish, but it's like LA Cops. Kind of like,
oh yeah.
Sort of Shadowrun meets Alien Nation.
Yeah, I remember. It was actually pretty good. It would have actually made an interesting buddy cop TV show.
Yeah, I think so. I think it had potential for more. But yeah, like I would like this Project Power it's interesting, but I'm wondering how much they could squeeze out of it, I guess. Whereas, worlds like Old Guard and Bright, I feel like they could do more with.
Yeah, if I don't get more Old Guard, there's going to be a problem.
I think we all feel that way.
We're going to have a problem, Netflix, you and I, if I do not get more of that. Because I can have Charlize or no. That's fine. I vote yes, but still. But like that whole universe, and like that's just, yeah, no, that needs more.
It was like Highlander, but good.
Yeah, I mean, I love Highlander too.
Highlander was it was a victim of the 80s and 90s. That's all.
It was, but it was like a super cool, like the Highlander, the whole thing, the mythos and all of that stuff that goes with it. It was like super.
Totally. What else I got on my list here? I know you don't. Or have you watched any Lower Decks yet, Merida?
I have not. Cryos I think, is caught up probably.
Did you watch the? Well, I asked because the title of the most recent episode is "Moist Vessel."
Oh, see, that's just not even. It's not even selling it for me now. That's like.
I will say though, maybe you agree, is that I felt like this episode already the show is, I feel like, starting to hit its stride, and I'm actually caring about the characters.
Yeah, I totally agree. My opinion on this episode 4 is that you could have dropped this same plot into TNG just fine, and it would have been just another Star Trek episode.
Totally. I have to say I'm pretty impressed with the way that I didn't think in this show we'd actually get to see much of or learn or know the bridge crew very well, but we are. Like, they're really good at running concurrent storylines, like 2 or 3 at a time.
Yeah, I agree. And I did like in this episode that Boimler kind of took a back seat to Mariner and to Tendi. Like Mariner got to be the A plot and Tendi got to be the B plot.
Yeah.
And Mariner and Rutherford were just kind of there.
Tendi's adorable. I think I like her.
Let's face it, she's what we would all be if we were in Starfleet.
So true. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Last cast, you made a bet that no one would get promoted by the end of the series, and that's already out the window. Mariner got promoted.
Yeah, clearly.
I know she
in the same episode, but
yeah, I know she got demoted, but yeah, I was not expecting that.
Does a punishment promotion really count, though?
You're right.
I guess I should have qualified my bet a little bit more.
The promotion did not last an episode, so I still think you're good.
Just to point out, she got promoted 2 full ranks. She went to lieutenant, like full lieutenant, Like, she skipped over Lieutenant Junior grade.
That's right. I noticed that too.
But seriously, I fully feel like the entire, like, the plot of this episode with the generation ship and the terraforming material or whatever, that could have straight up been, this was a TNG episode with the humor dialed up a couple of notches more than it normally would be.
That's the feeling I got from it too. It felt like a classic Next Generation episode, and that, like you said, that generation ship, that just, it seems like exactly the kind of thing the Enterprise would have dealt with.
Yep, and it was cool to finally see a Tellarite. That was neat. I mean, not finally see a Tellarite because they were in Enterprise, but like, we don't often, like, they're a founding race of the Federation, and I don't think we have, up until Enterprise, we didn't see any of them in real life, like in live action show.
They are very, very overlooked for being founding members. I particularly enjoyed something. I mean, the animation style is so fast and clippy. I actually love it. But when Mariner leaves Captain's office and she's doing the Vulcan salute like it's the middle finger, that there's something about that just really worked, and it really came off as insulting.
It was funny. I also like how Boimler's like, is like having an existential crisis of how she got promoted and he didn't. And then he's like, maybe I have to be bad. And then his bad is like spilling coffee.
I lost it.
Crisis.
In the middle of everything, hot coffee on your crotch.
No, but it certainly did back up the fact that Mariner is a very capable officer when she puts her mind to it. Like, she knew that plan backwards and forwards. Also, the sensors at the end, that was pretty funny, because I used to giggle at Tuvok all the time on Voyager for his Captain sensors detect.
I have a feeling that's not going to be the last time that one of those little, things from the old series gets called out and made fun of, but that was fucking prime.
And I do find it interesting. So Tendy's B plot is about the fact that she wants everybody to like her, which is really interesting since she is an Orion female. So, which they have pheromones that are supposed to be influence people. So I'm very curious as to why she desperately wants everybody to like her.
Yeah, that is actually that's really an interesting reversal, because everyone, like you said, everyone loves Orion. They're always dancing girls, right? They're like the Twi'lek girls of the Star Trek universe. So how many episodes did you say was in the season? 10?
Yeah, I think there's only 10. So we're just about to hit the halfway point.
It's going quick. I must say I'm enjoying it though, and like I said, I actually am caring about the characters now. Like I was a tiny bit skeptical at first, but you know what? Totally love it.
Yep. So after the 10 episodes is done, we go right into Discovery Season 3. So
that's right. Cool, yeah, that's literally going to be whole new territory. I'm actually looking forward to that a lot.
Yeah, they've flashed so far forward that there's nothing. Like, because I was thinking maybe that they were in the season 1 of Enterprise, when they're referring to the temporal Cold War, which happens in like the 2400s or so, that maybe they went that far, but they've gone beyond that. So it's like
blank slate.
Like, they're basically exactly. Well, I think it's one of those. It's like the Old Republic. They're so far forward / ahead that it's not going to impact anything else.
Right. Which reminds me, I think I saw concept art from High Republic Star Wars stuff, and it was actually Yoda. So it's like the only character they can use that we know.
Yeah, I saw that. Like a younger, I guess, looking Yoda. It looked pretty cool.
He seemed to be standing a little straighter. All right, let's hit up Lovecraft Country. We were wondering last time, where are they gonna go from?
Wow. That was a bit of a left turn. I mean, it was a bit of a time jump, obviously. We don't really know. I think 6 months, did they say? 5 months?
They'd gotten long enough to get Uncle George have a funeral anyway.
He said that he was living there a month.
Right.
Maybe. So yeah, so a month later.
I have to admit, when the show started, and it seemed like a weird reset of things, and until they mentioned the events in Artem, or what is that? Arkham? It was Artem, right?
It's Artem, yeah.
Right. Until they referenced those events, I was like, is this like going to be like a collection of stories that are kind of not connected? Like, did those events happen, or are we into a whole new story now?
Yeah, and I was kind of the same. And the start, I was kind of like, is this the funeral? Like the service, like I was like, is that the funeral? I can't tell if that's just a church service or is the funeral because I don't think we saw the body.
We mentioned last time that we're not convinced Uncle George is going to stay dead, and I'm still holding with that. I think we still might see him yet.
Well, Dracula has come up a lot,
Yeah.
like a lot. So, and that was his favorite book.
Uncle
So I don't know.
George the Vampire.
Well, it'd be kind of interesting to see. I don't know. It, but this, yeah. I mean, this was a good, solid, haunted fucking house.
I know, right? Like that's what I said to myself watching today. I was like, when's the last time I saw a fucking haunted house show or movie that had me so drawn in?
Yeah, Hill House, I think for me was the last time. Like I really like Hill House too. And this had that kind of same air of that. Like I'm a big fan of scary for scary. I'm not gore doesn't do anything for me. Torture porn, not like, like I don't Saw and that kind of movie. It's not my thing. I like jump scares.
Yeah.
I like, terrifyingly spiritual possession kind of stuff. So this was that.
And again, it's so good as a horror story type show, but it's got that whole extra, like you said last time, it's the whole extra layer of how scary fucking humans are. And they have these fucking white assholes out on their front lawn the whole time with the horns going and burning crosses and shit.
Yeah, when she was like, fuck this noise, I'm getting the bat, and just went out, and the dress she had on, I recognized she don't care about this, but that dress she had on
pockets
was amazing. Anyway, it was amazing. She just like, fuck that, gets the bat. She's like going out. They're like, everybody get the rifles, just go get the guns, and then she's just swinging, and she's got a hell of a swing on her too. And just taking out those windows, right? Like, and then just taking the bat and smashing the bricks right out. And I'm like, yes, you go, girl.
You don't take no shit.
She's very much my favorite character. I was worried they were actually going to make her kind of start to go mad.
Yeah.
A little bit. But I think that they brought her back around, which was good, when she gathered her wits as to how to beat oh my fucking god, with the horrible science experiments and why is an astrophysicist doing experiments on people's bodies? But anyway, I didn't understand that part. I feel like maybe we could have made him a surgeon or something, but I'm sure that there's a reason that may come back up.
The baby head freaked me out.
Oh, it was terrible. Oh my god. And then like the arms, like they had different arms on people, and like the woman that was holding the fetus, because obviously they had aborted, and then the other woman was missing her brain, and then but the baby head, it was on that big man. Oh my gosh, that was fucking terrifying.
When the elevator took that guy's head off, I was like, oh.
I like that they lingered, and I say that I don't like gore, but then
when used appropriately to the story.
I like to see people punished appropriately. That's what it comes down to. So he had that coming.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So, well, I was trying to explain this to, gosh, I can't remember who I was talking about, to the office, but I was telling somebody that they needed to watch this, and I explained it. I said, it's about Lovecraft, so it does have that, Cthulhu, supernatural, demons, ghosts, monsters element. I said, but because of the time period and the fact that the main characters are Black, you are left trying to figure out who the bigger monsters are, the white racists or the story monsters, I guess, for whatever, Cthulhu monsters, or in this case, the ghosts and that kind of stuff. So you're left trying to figure out who's worse. And I got to tell you, most of the time, I feel better with the monsters.
Agreed. 100%.
You can figure out how to beat them, I guess. I don't know. Like, And it turns out that these ghosts that we were seeing that were terrifying helped her win.
Yeah, I feel like they'd have a more of an easy time even reasoning with the spirit, the supernatural, or ghosts or monsters or whatever. Like, you ain't getting through to these racist assholes. You just not.
No. And I think, like it's really hard, the mindset. Like it's very easy. Had this come out 2 years ago, even, I think for me as like a white woman, I'd have been horrified by the racists, but I would have discounted it as, yeah, but that was history and we're better now. And, people have learned and that's like just awful, awful history. But that's just not the case.
No, not at all.
I understand that the Black community has always known that that's the case, but I think it's been, the last year for the rest of us in a lot of cases that has gone, holy shit, we're not better.
No, in fact, I think it's worse than ever.
Well, I think it's just because people are emboldened.
Yeah.
That's all. I think what I personally mistook for people evolving and becoming better and, getting past that kind of awful stuff was in fact people just learning that they had to hide it because
Exactly. What I find so interesting, one of the many things I find interesting about Lovecraft Country, is that it would function perfectly well as either a straight supernatural horror show with these characters, or if none of that was in it and it was just about racism in the 50s and 60s and all that shit, it would work from either angle perfectly as a show. But we get them both in one show.
Yeah, no, and I really like the fact, and I touched on this last week, the whole, like we talked about Eddie Murphy's bit where the different reactions of the white woman in the haunted house
Yep.
and like how we'd be like, let's go look in the basement.
That's peculiar.
And like take forever to figure out and accept, maybe this house is haunted, even after seeing like 8 billion things and blood dripping down the wall and the voices and all the flies, and you're still like, but
You know what's funny is that a line from the Christina character actually comes to play in that mentality of the white woman in the horror movies. It's like, you can't go around killing white women. It's like,
right?
That's unfathomable. I can't possibly be killed. So one subject I want to cover before we stop for the night is, as we all know, Chadwick Boseman died in the last few days, and man was a fucking hero, giving us all these fantastic movies, visiting sick kids the whole time, fucking fighting for his life, and we were none the wiser. Of course, people are already talking about what do we do about Black Panther, and a lot of the geek community is like, do like the comics, make Shuri the Black Panther, which of course raises the question, how do we write Chadwick out? Because he deserves a proper send-off if we're going to send him off. So I was just wondering what you guys thought, if anything, about the idea of replacing Black Panther or making Shuri the new Black Panther.
I am a fan of making Shuri the new Black Panther. I mean, I recognize in the comic books that she was only very temporarily the Black Panther because he was laid up, like he had been injured. The Black Panther had been injured, so that was why she had kind of taken up the mantle. I personally recognize that while it is not canon for the comic books, I think probably the way that I would want it to go would be to see him actually die in the movie and have her take over from that.
And I think it would be really easy to do, right? So the good thing about Black Panther's superhero costume, for lack of a better word, is that he's in it from head to toe, right? So you could have, opening of the movie, Black Panther is clearly on some sort of mission to save some people, whatever, and he just happens to take a fatal blow doing something super heroic, like, letting orphans escape from a fire or whatever. And like you can just have him die in I don't remember any of the other characters other than he and Shuri from that movie, but die in Lupita Nyong'o's arms or whatever, and he's covered from head to toe, so you could just have a body double in there. And then you do a funeral back in Wakanda with creative camera angles that never really shows his face, or you CGI his face or whatever. And then boom, Shuri becomes Black Panther after that.
I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm sure there's rooms of people at Marvel and whatever, having this conversation, and they will be for a while. I like the idea of Shuri being a successor to the throne, and whatever they do, I'm confident that however they send Chadwick off, it'll be done, with heart, and we're all gonna cry, and we're gonna feel that shit. I think, as much as I agree with the fandom, okay, yeah, sure, it'd be great. I think it's too soon to worry about it. You know what I mean? I haven't read anything about what Letitia, the actress. I'm sure she's. We got to give them time to grieve. You know what I mean? Like let's worry about it a little bit later on, kind of thing. Like the Black Panther's, he's gonna live on in our hearts, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think that whatever happens, I hope. Marvel and Disney have always kind of, they've honored that. They did with Carrie Fisher. Like they are pretty decent with being honoring, the actor and their character and stuff. So I think that they will do that. But I agree. I think that it's caught a lot of people by surprise, and the character meant a lot to a lot of people. And 2020, man, that's it's a year we needed the Black Panther.
It's so true. Yeah.
So I think that it's just one more fuck you from 2020. But, I think we have to remember the man and how, he obviously, it was very important to him that he kept this as private as he could.
Mm-hmm.
I assume he didn't want it to overshadow, the work he was doing, his existence. He just, I don't know, obviously, but it feels like he wanted to be able to live his life in the public eye without having to think about what was happening in his private life.
And honestly, you're right that if he had gone public with it, it would have been in every article. He never would have been able to do an interview without them bringing his illness up. And he, you know what? Right on, man. Like he lived life on his own fucking terms. And man, I admire that so much.
Yeah, it's a huge loss, and I think it caught. Obviously, none of us knew he was sick, so nobody knew it was coming. He's still a young man. Besides,
yeah.
I do think it's important, though, if anything good comes out of it, that men realize, particularly Black men, because apparently there is one particular type of cancer that it is a particular risk. But everybody should realize you are not too fucking young for that kind of stuff to get you. So
no, you're never too young to die.
Nope. And yeah, it's yes. And that is honestly one of those things that people get embarrassed about and don't want to get checked for. So
yep, it's true. Very, very true.
So according to the most recent schedule that Marvel put out, Black Panther 2 was due to hit theaters May 2022. So they definitely have lots of time to figure out what the hell they're going to do.
And I will wait as long as they want for them to figure that out, because I do believe his legacy will be in good hands. It's like you say, it's like they treated Carrie Fisher's memory with a lot of respect, and the fans were, we felt pretty happy about it. And I think the same thing. Carrie Fisher's loss was fucking crushing. In a way, and not to compare, but this one's almost, it feels almost bigger. You know what I mean? Like it hit us. It hit us more. We got blindsided from it, is what I'm saying. So it was more of a shock.
I think so, and I think it's just, I don't know. Like Carrie, was definitely older, and obviously had a host of health issues and past addiction problems and stuff that kind of,
Yeah.
all put that together. But um, I really do feel like the character meant so much to so many people, you know, and we are in such turmoil right now in the world, and it's like this person that you've looked up to, it's just like one more thing. I think it's just like one more like, I mean, and that's, you know me speaking as like just a white woman who, has privilege. Like, I can't even imagine to see the world a mess, to see people being beaten and killed by the police. And then this character that was kind of this happy ray of sunshine in a bunch of crap in some cases, I don't want to make it build it up to, you know, fairy tale levels and stuff, but this like happy, joyful thing.
Yep.
And then, you know, he dies. I I think it just was a lot for a lot of people.
And it still is, and it's going to be for a while. I can't tell you how excited I was when they said they're going to do the Black Panther movie, because I knew him from the comics back in the day. I'm like, all right, so he could outfight Captain America, outthink Reed Richards. He's wealthier than Tony Stark, and he could probably trounce the shit out of Batman too. I'm like, Black Panther was the man.
Plus, he loves punching KKK members.
Yeah, that's all good.
I think for me the thing with it, like I love world building. So when you were in Wakanda, like it's the same thing as when I loved the Wonder Woman movie because I loved the whole world building, just the vastness of everything. But like when you got to Wakanda and it's just like it's not just like, I mean, I love Iron Man and it's it's not like they just have Tony Stark, he's a rich guy, he's doing the things and he has super cool science.
Yeah.
But for this they had to, create traditions and wardrobe and just like they built a world. And
Yeah.
it was huge to watch. Like when you watched it unfold on the screen, it was just like fucking amazing. So
It had heart where something like Iron Man didn't necessarily.
yeah,
Yeah, like I've seen lots of. I remember when Black Panther came out, and there were lots of interviews with like the costume designers and the set designers, and they talked about how they had to draw. They were trying to create this Afrofuturism. So like take all the existing African tribes and try to like dial them up 1,000 years or whatever, and see what they would still kind of be like. And it was really cool how they had to do that. So it's like taking your homebrew RPG world and like dialing it up to 11.
I think for me, and I'm not just saying this because obviously it's timely and this is what we're talking about, but I think for me, it was the most immersive of all of the movies.
I agree.
The
I
series.
just by sheer coincidence, I watched it literally the day before Chadwick died, and
Oh,
I remember just being enthralled once again. Like he said it best when they enter Wakanda: "This never gets old."
yeah, yeah, no. And you felt that with him when you went, and it, yeah.
And I feel like when Chadwick delivered that line, it probably meant a lot to him, because like they were, the movie they were making, and the voices they were giving power to. It had to have meant a lot to him when he delivered that line. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He will be missed.
But never forgotten.
No.
And I know some people are probably thinking, well, they had to do a lot of world building with Guardians of the Galaxy as well, but I really don't think they did. Like the Guardians of the Galaxy movie just feels like them going from one place to another without like much world building behind it. Um,
Locations are easy. I mean, not easy. Obviously, the people that have to do set design and all that stuff, they would argue with me. But like, to just go to Planet X, it's blue. It looks cool. Maybe there, it's got these creatures on it. I mean, we see it in Star Wars too, right? And that's why Star Wars can go either way. It can be very like you're in the world, or you're kind of like, eh.
you know, like sci-fi stuff is one thing, but like creating the look and the feel and all that for Wakanda, that's more closer to our world, you know, or what it should be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is like that's kind of always why it's always cooler. Like the great thing with imagining the future is you have free reign.
Yeah.
You know, you can do whatever you want. You can be as ridiculous as you want or as kind of close to what we have now, but you can do, yeah, it's fine. But when you've got something that's theoretically set in present day ish time, you know, but you still have to make it fantastical enough that people are in awe. That's hard.
Yeah. And it has to honor a lot of real life stuff too, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh man,
Like
you know what? I just realized that the next time I watch Avengers Endgame, I am gonna bawl my fucking eyes out at that last battle scene. Oh man.
Yeah, you're not gonna be alone. I cried anyway the last time.
Well, yeah, I mean it's an emotional scene to begin with, but now, oh my god. But I'm gonna watch it. Damn right, I'm gonna watch it.
The other thing that kind of sucks is the ending. I don't know, Merritt, since Vince just watched it, but Merritt, I don't know if you remember the ending of Black Panther, where the Wakandans finally decide that they're going to go out into the world and help,
Yep.
their fellow African, I guess in this case African Americans and stuff, and like the world needs that a lot right now, and it just kind of got ripped out from underneath them.
2020 is like it's become an entity, you know, like keeps taking.
Yeah, I remember when the worst thing was a celebrity died.
Yeah.
Now, this is bad. This was like there's celebrity death, and then there's like this.
Yeah.
It's not upsetting because it's a celebrity. He's upsetting because of what he stood for. I think. You know, you pile that on top of everything else, and then you're like, really?
Yeah, it's what he stood for, but like it's also like who he was. He was out there being a hero in real life to these kids, you know, visited them in the hospital and stuff like that. Like that's, you gotta fucking respect that.
No, well, that's the whole thing, right? He just wasn't a guy putting on a suit.
He walked the walk.
You know, he actually did the thing. I actually watched a thing with about him and Denzel Washington.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Denzel Washington paid for him to go to university.
Right.
But he didn't know that at the time. He found out after, apparently. And Denzel went to see the premiere, was invited to see the premiere of Black Panther. And Chadwick introduced himself to him and said, "Hey, you paid for my school and stuff." And apparently Denzel said, "Yeah, now I'm here to collect."